If you could have any Marvel character as your either villain or sidekick, who would it be?
I really like the Daredevil Spider-Man stuff in the comics. It's really fun, you know. And I think Tom Holland is an amazing Spider-Man.
I mean, I grew up with the comics, and one of the things I loved was the Spider-Man, Daredevil, like when those New York superheroes got to talk.
I do too. I do too.
And now it seems like that's a possibility.
Yeah, so, that's exciting, right?
When I go and see the Marvel movies, that's my favorite part of the film often is when Spider-Man's been bitten, he wakes up the next morning and he's discovering what's happened to him and who he is, and he goes to high school, blah, blah, blah. I love that.
What character did you, like, grow up with? Like, any other Marvel or...?
Well, I grew up, you know, everyone grows up with Spider-Man, you know, and, you know, when I was a kid, when I was young, I lived in an apartment in a flat in London, so we didn't have outdoor space or anything. So you have to, you know, as a kid, you've got to figure out cool things to do to entertain yourself. And I remember at one point I realized that if I got my palms were really sweaty, then I could climb up the door frame, you know, like by pushing against the side of the door frame, you could climb to the top, right, you know, at age 5. And I remember thinking, maybe I'm Spider-Man, you know, I don't know, it's possible.
I could do that professionally.
Yeah. So, you know, I was obviously a big Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man's a cool character. You know, I'd love to see Peter Parker and Daredevil hang out. There's a wonderful issue of the comics where Matt Murdock has to defend Daredevil, and because of the public don't know, and so he has Peter Parker put on his Daredevil outfit so that he can sit in the docks. You know, great storyline.
I know Daredevil and Spider-Man are good buddies too, right? They lived together for a while.
Right.
So could it happen that we see Spider-Man and Daredevil fighting alongside?
I mean, that would be very cool as well. I don't know if we'll get to that, but that'd be cool.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for
Andrew Garfield was a friend of mine, so that would have been fun. And there's a street game in New York that people play called handball, which is, you know, it's a bit like squash but with your hand against the wall. And a few years ago, me and him played, and everyone was very excited because Spider-Man was playing handball. And I just thought it'd be fun if we played again, and it was Daredevil and Spider-Man playing. But
besides Daredevil, what other superhero would you want to play?
I think if I had to choose, it would be Spider-Man. I mean, I'm too old for it now, but I think it would be Spider-Man just because I just, you know, the swinging in between buildings is kind of what does it for me. That would be so cool. And I know enough to know that doesn't actually happen, but I still think there has to be a certain amount of swinging somewhere in some studio. That would be really cool to do. Yeah, I think Spider-Man.